The reason why your candidates are ghosting between call 2 and call 5 isn't because they're not interested. It's because they're confused. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact YouTube system that took my client from $0 all the way up to $52,000, which is 8 videos. And it's cutting down time to award from 12 months all the way down to 60 days. Let's get into it. Before I show you the system, I have to kill 2 misconceptions, because if you don't understand these, nothing else in this video will land. So the first misconception is thinking that you need more candidates. So to simply put it, you don't need more candidates. I mean, look at your own numbers. The drop off isn't at the top of the funnel. It's between call 2 and call 5. That's not a lead gen problem. That's a candidate education problem. So I just hopped off of a sales call with a franchise consultant, and he was telling me that he can buy this lead list, and it had like 12,000 leads in it. And he was saying he could get leads from another guy like 70 bucks a lead or something like that. But essentially he'd just be buying new people, right? But he wouldn't be educating these people, and these people wouldn't even be warm to him or his business. So sure, they might answer the first call or maybe the second call, and then during the follow-up process, like between call 2 or call 5, that's when they start falling off, and maybe they don't pick up again until later in the sales process. So what this creates is a candidate education problem. They ghost because most candidates just get overwhelmed when the FDD gets mentioned, or investment numbers, discovery day, validation calls, SBA funding. Like, all of these terms hit them all at once. And then when they get confused, they disappear. So basically what this guy was planning on doing was buying more leads to put them into a broken process. And this would have to result in more people he'd follow up with, resulting in just more ghosting. So before we get further in this video, I want to talk about one of my clients, Dre, who closed $24,000 with just 2 YouTube videos, and both videos had around 50 views each. Now, he has a very complex offer where he helps gym owners scale. And this is a very high ticket offer where he's selling this for $24,000 a pop. So with just 50 views, he was able to get 1 deal off of this. And this is because he wasn't focused on getting more leads. No, he was focused on educating the leads that he already had with YouTube content. And because the YouTube content spoke to his exact target market, he was able to nurture that person into closing a deal. So he didn't need like 100,000 views or even 1 million views to get this result. He just needed 50 views, and one of the right people just had to be watching at the right time. And this is because views are a vanity metric. Views ultimately mean nothing in the sales process. What really matters is watch time. If you can increase somebody's watch time before they ever book a call with you, they are going to have such a higher intent of actually wanting to work with you. This is going to become a warmer lead. Now, when you go outside and you buy lead lists from agencies or maybe ads, what you're essentially doing is you're attracting a cold audience. So all of the warming up would have to be done either in the back end of the websites where they can receive more information, or during the calls, right? And now you're spending more time re-explaining the same thing that you've been doing for other people. Whereas for Dre, all we had to do was make 1 video talking about one thing targeted towards one type of person. And when that person saw it, they decided to buy. So what a lot of people do is they try to go on the platform that's going to guarantee them the most views. So they'll try to go to like Instagram Reels, maybe TikTok, maybe Facebook, maybe even LinkedIn, and they'll make a post, and sure, it gets like a few hundred views, right? But the watch time is really bad. Where we have YouTube videos where we'll have a few thousand people watch a video, but the watch time is over 1,000 hours watched. Now think about this. If somebody sits down and watches you speak for over an hour long, they're going to be more warm to actually want to buy from you. So the biggest takeaway from this, and the biggest mental shift you guys should be making, is stop chasing views and start chasing watch time. So the second misconception is, if they're searching on YouTube, they must already be working with a consultant. Now, this is just simply, plain and put, flat wrong. It's untrue. What most people do once they get interested in an offer, whether that be franchise consulting or anything else, is they go into skeptic mode, where they are essentially trying to receive all the information possible to go farther into the funnel, whether that'll be book a call, reach out for help, check out a website. They're trying to do all the research on their own before hopping on the phone with someone. So they have the possibility of going through YouTube or Google, searching up all these questions that they have, finding other people talk about it. And then when they come to you, they may have received the wrong information, wasn't properly educated, and they became warm to someone else. Whereas if they became aware of wanting to buy a franchise, they would start researching on YouTube or on Google, trying to find the information from themselves. And if they receive that information from you, they're going to trust you a lot more when they hop in a call with you. People don't necessarily search for how to prepare for Discovery Day when Discovery Day is just a few days away. They're searching this up before the sales process even started. So realistically, they're doing this in quiet. This is private research they do before they're willing to book a call with anyone. That pre-decision window is massive. Right now, someone else is filling it. And the people doing this research end up drowning in misinformation. They watch the wrong video. They read the wrong Reddit thread. They listen to some guys who's never placed a single candidate tell them about item 19 being a scam. By the time they get on a call with you, you're not consulting. You're spending 20 minutes undoing bad information. YouTube lets you be the first voice in their head instead of being a cleanup crew. Okay, so now that you understand the problem, now the question is, why YouTube specifically? Because the answer is the whole reason this system works. So every other platform, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all the content dies. If you post an Instagram reel tomorrow or a LinkedIn post, it's going to die within a week. It might get a few 100 views, maybe a few thousand, and then right after that week ends, it's going to stop collecting views. So when you stop posting, the pipeline stops. Whereas YouTube is the complete opposite. YouTube is evergreen. A video I posted for one of my clients in December was still booking calls for him in March. YouTube isn't a feed, it's a search engine. And also, just to add on to this point, YouTube is owned by Google. It is the second largest search engine, and Google is the largest search engine. So even if they don't search you up on YouTube and maybe they're searching questions on Google, Google always recommends YouTube videos. It's like one of the first things that comes up whenever you search a question. You might see the answer and then you might see a few videos underneath it answering that. And this all happens whether you posted it yesterday or whether you posted it a year ago. Views can add up. These videos are still getting searched. Now, to piggyback off of the last point I was making with the watch time, so the overall time on the platform, a franchise decision is a $250,000 to a $1 million commitment. Nobody is going to make that off of a 30-second reel. They make it after hours of content. YouTube is the only platform where candidates are willingly able to give you 45 minutes of their attention before you ever spoken to them. That's 45 minutes of you pre-handling objections, explaining the process, and building trust before they ever hit your calendar. Now, on Instagram or LinkedIn, right? If you're making a post, how long do you think people are actually staying on that post, right? They're probably spending a few seconds, maybe a minute, depending on how long the video is or the post, and then they're scrolling on to the next one. But on YouTube, they're searching for these answers, and they have a higher intention level of actually sitting and watching this whole video than them just randomly scrolling on any one of these platforms. Now, I'm not saying that someone can't spend spend an hour with you, but let's just break down the math here. If you wanted somebody to spend an hour with you watching your content, and you were trying to do this with Instagram Reels and each one was a minute long, you'd realistically have to be creating 60 videos in order to get someone to spend an hour with you. But if you're on YouTube, you can just make a video that's 1 hour long, have somebody sit there for that full hour, and then book a call with you, instead of you creating these 60 pieces of short form content. So watch time matters a lot in overall terms of lowering the sales cycle. Next is the audience. So 90% of people earning over $100,000 a year use YouTube daily. These are your candidates. They're not scrolling for entertainment, they're researching a life decision. And the next reason why YouTube should be your main choice is because of active versus passive education. Webinar registrations treat it like a side test. They half watch while they answer emails. So usually what happens in webinars is people will pull up the Zoom call on their laptop and they'll have like a million other tasks open, right? They'll probably have their Gmail open. They'll probably have a YouTube video running in on the background. Maybe they're even playing a game while this webinar is going on. They're only like half watching you while they do all these tasks. But YouTube viewers are actively searching for this information right now. They're showing up with higher intent, and your videos are answering the questions that they want answered. So they are paying attention. Active education versus passive education is a completely different prep level by the time they book. Now, here's what you might not expect. You don't need new traffic in order to get the system working in 1 week. There's a faster unlock before YouTube starts ranking, and almost no consultant uses it. That's next. So real quick before I keep going, if you already know that you want this built for you, the objection mapping, the scripts, the thumbnails, the editing, the SEO, the full production done for you, I have a special offer for franchise consultants right now. Click the first link in the description. It walks you through everything. If you want to keep watching, I'm about to break down the faster unlock, the full architecture, and exactly what happens on a sales call once a candidate has consumed this content. Let's keep going. So most consultants assume that YouTube has to replace their current lead source. It doesn't, not on day one. On day one, YouTube is a nurture engine. You're still getting leads from LinkedIn, from referrals, from consultant networks, maybe it's a lead list, from webinars. Those leads are cold or lukewarm. They don't know the process. Instead of spending call one explaining the FDD, imagine this. Somebody messages you on LinkedIn with a question. Instead of typing a 400-word response or booking a 30-minute call, you send them a link. Here's a video I made on exactly that. They watch your 12-minute explainer video, then YouTube recommends your full-length VSL. Then they book a call. That's not lead generation. That's lead nurturing. You can flip that switch on in week 1 before a single video has ranked in your search. Your existing leads become 10x more qualified the moment you have a library to point them at. Now, just so you guys can understand, I probably sent you guys this video in either a DM on LinkedIn or maybe an email. Now, just so you guys can understand the full picture of this, I currently do this for myself in my own business because I probably sent you this video right here so you guys can see more about how to get candidates on YouTube without chasing them. So now that you're watching this content, you're becoming more warm to my face, more warm to my voice, how I speak, and what I'm talking about. And now you're getting a fuller picture of how YouTube can work in your business. So this is essentially what you guys should be doing for your leads also, because they're probably on the fence, they probably have questions, and they're going to be searching for this information, not in a call, but on the biggest search engine in the world. That's going to be Google and YouTube. And the way you can get your leads that you currently have to be more educated is by sending them in the right direction with the right assets. All of these YouTube videos are sales assets at the end of the day. And if somebody was to watch it, they would be closer to making a decision than somebody who wasn't. So once the architecture starts pulling in new traffic on its own, the generation layer stacks on top. Nurture first, generation second. So you know why it works. Now let me show you the exact architecture, because there's a specific structure behind every video. And if you skip this part, you'll end up with a library of content that gets views but no placement. So this is the architecture. This is not post 4 videos a month and hope something hits. There's a specific architecture and every video has a job. So let's get into this. So the first one is the objection to video rule. So before we record anything, we analyze your sales calls. Now, if you're not somebody who has been recording their calls beforehand, I 100% recommend this. Either if you work with me or you don't, this is super good for data collection just to begin with. So you can use a software like Fathom AI. I use one called Read AI. And what it does is it'll record your whole entire call. And then you'll get a transcription from it. This is just text. And you can place this into an AI software that we also use in order to analyze your sales calls. And the reason why this is so powerful is because you can implement a ton of data. I just did this with 400 sales calls with another client, and I was able to see all the objections that he was getting and the frequency it was happening in. So when we get all these objections, we're able to embed them inside of every related video on the channel. So effectively what this does is when they watch a video now, they're getting all their objections pre-handled before they even hop in a call with you. So next is the primary search target. So every niche has a gateway keyword. For franchise consultants, it's how to buy a franchise. And the variations of it, how to buy a McDonald's franchise, how to buy a franchise with no money, how to buy a franchise with SBA funding. These are searches where your high intent buyers live. Month 1, these are the exact videos we go after. Direct answers to the exact search candidates are already typing. This is where placements actually come from. So for my client Michael, who just did $52,000, if you go through his case study breakdown video, which I made, I talk about a video idea that was constantly like doing good in his algorithm, which was how to start a private car rental business. And this is because it's a staple for him, where there's multiple variations of this one video topic. They're just angled a little bit differently and formatted a little differently, but what they are is they're different doorways that people can enter into his ecosystem, but they all have like the same keywords behind it, which is how to start a private car rental business. And for franchise consultants, it's literally how to buy a franchise. You don't need to overcomplicate it, but this is the staple of your industry. And if you're not making this type of video content, someone else is, and they're stealing your candidates. So the next type of video is the online business intercept play. Nobody right now is running this, and it's a massive opportunity. Every single person under 40 is being told to start some sort of an online business. So right now the market's flooded with all these business ideas like drop shipping, Amazon reselling, e-com, how to start a marketing agency. All of these online businesses that seem more sexy than starting a franchise are essentially taking your possible future customers, because nobody right now is trying to compete. So if franchise consultants were able to make a video like why I stopped trying to start an online business and bought a franchise instead, these videos would intercept massive waves of people currently trying to start an online business and reframe the entire conversation. Almost no franchise consultant on YouTube is making this content. And this is a super powerful thing, is that you can steal audiences from different niches. So if somebody is looking up how to start a dropshipping business, right? And you have a video out, I stopped trying to make a drop shipping business and I bought a franchise. This would intercept people that were on the fence about starting a drop shipping business and introduce them to the world of franchise. Now you're able to steal a whole different market from a whole different niche and get people interested in your guys' service. Next is the video menu. So 3 search-based videos: how to buy a franchise and its variation, cost-based searches, brand-specific searches, the online business intercept videos, plus objection handlers like how to prepare for discovery day, what is an FDD, can you buy a franchise without industry experience. Everyone pre-handles at least one high frequency objection. And this could all be done in one VSL video. Now, for a lot of franchise consultants, you guys might not be aware of what a VSL stands for. This is something called a video sales letter. So this is a video that you can have on your website or your landing page. And what it does is if somebody was to watch this video, they'd have a deep level of understanding about you, why they should work with you, and what you are going to do for them. So if you are to click the link in the description, the first thing you're going to see is my VSL, because now you guys are going to get warmer to me. You're going to see me speak about YouTube in a much different way, a more salesy way, and you guys are going to have all your objections pre-handled. So by the time we hop on a sales call, you guys shouldn't have those questions. But a VSL video is really complex because in order to make this, you would need to know all the objections you're getting and the frequency at which they're happening at. So that way you can order the video from most frequent objection to least frequent objection. So you can get rid of the important stuff first, so they wouldn't happen on sales calls. So the VSL, it's usually a 45 to 75 minute video where you walk candidates through the entire franchise buying process, step by step, in the order they'll actually be experiencing it. So this is actually one of our signature videos. We title it a full course video. So for franchise consultants, it would be how to buy your first franchise, full course, 100% free. Something along those lines will be an hour-long video, and inside of it, it'll handle all their objections, it'll educate them on the whole entire process, and by the time somebody watches this, they'll be super warm to you. And this is a hidden VSL because we don't just post this one salesy video that's you going through a ton of objections. We kind of hide it in the content so people can't fathom that they're being sold to right now. What they just see it as is free value that they're getting, and they're getting educated about the process. So the next type of video, and I may have already sent you this video if I've been messaging you, is a case study breakdown. So you probably received a video from me about how I made my client $52,000 with just 8 YouTube videos. This is a case study breakdown. So this is a video where you take one of your clients and how you took them from one state, which was like maybe they were in the corporate world, they got burned out, and now they're a franchise owner within 90 days. These don't attract cold audiences. They attract close, warm traffic. A candidate who's been on your channel for about 2 hours and is still on the fence watches one of these videos, sees undeniable proof you do this for real people, and then they book a call. This video is undeniable proof that you get results. All in all, these are multiple entry points, one destination, all educating the candidates for you. That's architecture. Now, here's the question I get on every single sales call. Once people see the architecture, will this actually sound like me, or will it just sound like a generic AI script? That's next. So how our scripts actually work is we don't write a word-for-word script. If we did, you'd sound like a robot reading a teleprompter, and candidates would feel it in the first 10 seconds. Instead, we write a bulleted structure. The script tells you, open with this proof point, then explain what an FDD is in your own words. Then tell the story you can use on calls when somebody asks about item 19. You're not reciting our words. You're reading a prompt and filling it with your own voice, your own stories, and your own actual expertise. Now, the two reasons this matter is, first, it sounds like you, and two, it extracts nuggets that only you have. Candidates can tell in 10 seconds if they're watching a real person or a performance. And the reason you're a good franchise consultant isn't because you can read a Wikipedia page about an FDD out loud. It's that you placed real people, seen real mistakes, and you have stories nobody else on YouTube has. Our job is to build a structure that pulls those stories out from you, not replace them with generic copy. So now that you get how the scripts work, now let me show you what actually happens on sales calls with a candidate who consume this content, because this is the part that makes consultants genuinely lose their minds. So usually what you guys are used to is you're used to a cold candidate. Usually you'd find these people off of a referral or an ad, or maybe you guys cold called them through a lead list, or maybe just cold message them. But basically, they know nothing about you. You're on a 60-minute call explaining the FDD, explaining Discovery Day, explaining royalties, explaining territory. You're doing education. You're not consulting. Then they go home, get scared by the numbers, and then ghost you. So the YouTube educated candidate is a completely different human. They've spent 2, 3, sometimes 10 hours on your channel before they ever click book a call. They already know the FDD. They already understand validation calls. They already know the investment range and that they've already processed it emotionally. When they show up, they're not asking surface level questions. They're asking about item 19. They're asking about territory overlap, and they're asking about support structure. They're moving. That call is not a pitch. It's a matching conversation. Goals, capital, lifestyle, brand fit, that's it. And because they already understand the process, they don't ghost between calls. They show up to Discovery Day confident. They do validation calls. They review the FDD without panicking. They get the funding and they sign. And the craziest part about this system isn't what happens when it's on. It's what happens when you turn it off. Let me show you. My client, Michael, as I was stating before, he runs a car rental coaching offer. Education heavy, high ticket offer, long research cycle. Same mechanism as franchise consulting. We posted 8 videos. He went on vacation to Mexico, came back, got sick, and stopped posting for weeks. And the revenue didn't stop. So I have a full case study breakdown of Michael here. I was talking about him previously. You should see the thumbnail on screen here, so you could definitely check that out later. But basically, he closed $52,000, 9K, 16K, 3K, 24K, posting literally nothing. The videos we had already built were ranking in search, being recommended in browse, and sending pre-educated candidates into his pipeline every single day. So once again, these were just 8 YouTube videos that we posted within month 1 and then month 2. And over the stretch of 4 months, so 2 months where he took off, he was still closing deals. So Shane, he runs a $10 million per year coaching business. His exact quote is, "I've got over 700 people in my program. I don't have time to mess with scripts and technicals. I record for 3 hours a month and this just runs." Now, I have a full testimonial that I'll link on screen right here for you guys to watch.
I mean, look, to record about, I would say maybe 4 videos a month takes me about a totality of maybe 3 hours at most for me to be able to do that. And the turnaround times for the videos also have been really, really good. Whoever may or may not be in a position looking to work with Alex and his team, I mean, I would strongly recommend it. You don't know how somebody's going to work out until you try. And I feel like the biggest thing with YouTube videos as well is why people are so inconsistent is because the amount of work, time, energy, and effort it goes into filming YouTube videos and scripting them and whatnot. But Alex and his team makes it very easy. So I'd recommend it to anybody who is having a coaching offer, anybody who's looking to build a YouTube presence. This is exactly the team you're looking for.
So hopefully now you guys understand that you don't need more leads, you don't need more candidates, you just need to do a better job at pre-educating them on the front end before they ever hop in a call with you. Because if you do this and you follow up with your YouTube videos, you send it to them in email blast or messaging it to them or telling them to go look up this video by you after a call, they're going to show up to the next call more educated, and it creates a much faster cycle for you. So if you want everything that I just mentioned here done for you, where we'll go in and we'll analyze the sales calls, we'll do the ideation process, present you with a ton of ideas, and then we'll get into the scripting process. Then all you have to do is record, which should take you around 2 to 4 hours a month to produce 4 YouTube videos. Then we'll do the editing, we'll create the thumbnails for you, we'll SEO the video, do all the keyword research, enter in the correct tags so that way your videos actually show up when somebody searches these questions, and then we'll post the video for you. So once again, if you want all of this done for you, click the link in the description to work with me and my team. Peace.